All right.
Okay, good evening once more.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Gandhi. Okay, today we are going to continue with a program in Excel. We're going to be looking at day three of our program. So, well, just to brief on what we've had so far, at least I believe by now we all know how to maneuver through the program. You know how to open the program. You know everything that is on the worksheet. You can easily go over the tabs. Uh, this is the ribbon. You can easily maneuver between the different groups to help that to format your text, like what we had in our class yesterday. So today I'm going to show you how to wrap your text, insert rows and columns, format your currency, and do some print options, and how to also add what borders and colors. And if we have time, I think we'll just cover the next phase, which is also dealing with formulas and all that. Okay, so the first option, how to wrap your text. Now, why do you have to wrap text? You wrap your text for it to have a continuous flow in your cell. So let's just say if this place and time was too long in such a way that place and time, let's just say this is place. I'm just gonna add more text there. Time, let's do that all caps. Time. I hope I'm sharing the right screen. Date
Yes, sir.
Yes,
See.
yes, you're sharing the right
and
screen.
number. Okay. So let's just say this is place, time, date, and number. So you see this is flowing in here. Okay. Now wrapping the text, look at what happens. If we were to wrap this text, you just need to come up here and you click here. Now you see it has increased the size of the row and has brought the text in. Okay. So if you're satisfied with this, this is just what wrapping the text means. What does that do? It maintains the size of what the column, and then it brings the text in one place like this. No matter how long your text is, it brings it, but maintaining what the size of your column. Okay. So this is just what wrapping the text is all about. I'm still going to like further demonstrate that by let me just add more countries in here. Let's just say this is Canada. Let's say China, Japan. Now you see it's already flowing out. So if I was to click in this cell and I select what wrap text, does the same thing. Of course, you can further fine tune that by maybe centralizing the text or just move it around to see how it displays best. So that is just it for wrapping what the text. Okay. So the next option is what? How to insert a row and how to merge and center. So inserting rows and columns is very easy. All you need to do, there are two ways of which you can actually do that. The first way is if you want to insert a row, let's say you want to insert a row between 1 and 2. Well, let me just get rid of these two rows so that you can see that well. Let's delete this. Okay, so let's say you want to insert a row between 1 and 2. Okay, now always know that when you are inserting, it's going to insert above. So you select this, you right click, you go to insert. Now that has inserted a row in there. Okay, just gonna undo that. Another way for you to do that is just to select the row which you want the other row to be placed above, and you come on here or over here under the insert tab. If you were to click under the drop down arrow here, you see it has what insert sheet rows. Okay, now of course you have just the insert sheet rows, and you see the insert sheet columns is blurred out. Why? Because it knows that it is a row that is highlighted, so you most definitely want to what work well with the rows. But now watch. Sorry about that. Watch what happens now when I select, like, say, a column instead, and I click here. You see now insert sheet rows is blurred out. And now we have what? Insert sheet columns. So also click, it also inserts a column to the left. Of course, another way of doing that is just to right click and click on insert, and it inserts a column to the left. So that is just how you insert rows and columns. Anyway, always know that it will insert, if you were to insert a row, let's say you want to insert a row between 3 and 4, you don't have to click on the 3 because it's going to insert it but above. So you have to click on 4 so that it inserts a new row here. So if I was to click here and I go here and I say insert sheet rows, now I have my row in there. Now, if you want to insert a column, say between C and D, you don't have to click on C, you click on D. And of course, if I was to go here, I click on insert, or I also click here and I click on insert sheet columns, it does that for you too. Okay, so that is just it on how you can insert rows and columns. The same option applies for all the versions of what Excel 27, all the earlier versions and the later versions. The option is the same. Now, how do you merge and center? Okay, this is already merged and center, so I'm going to go to the next sheet that we have here, which is this. And well, this is actually, we are not really seeing this very well, so I'm going to zoom in a bit, and we covered that yesterday. So I'm just going to come to the view tab and I change the zoom ratio to what, 200%, and okay. Yeah, so I believe this is okay now. So merge and center, you see this text has been typed here and it is flowing on the other columns, as you can see here. So what do I do now? I want to center this text in such a way that what, it can appear in the center of this document. Because if I was to print out this document, let's just say I go to file, print, you see the print preview that you have here. Okay, you see that this is not really looking good. No, this is not looking good at all. So if I go back and I say what, I select, you have to select the range of which you want to center the text to. So we want it to be centered on the whole of this document. So select the row A from here to here, okay, just as our document is. And then we go up, come under the home tab, and click merge and center. And you now see that appearing in there. Very good, and yeah, very beautiful. So that is just how you merge and you center your text. First, you have to know the range that you want to center with. You select the text, and then you just come here and you click on merge and center. If you happen to change your mind, just need to click on this drop down arrow and click on what, on merge cells, and it undoes that for you. Okay, so the next option we are going to be looking at is how to what, format your currency. That is very easy. I'm going to go back to sheet 1. It's very easy to format the currency. Presently, we have all of this in dollars. I'm just going to go ahead and I remove this. Let's just say we put this in what? Yes, in dollars. So formatting your currency is just like what you see me doing here. Say, let's go back to sheet 2. Okay, these are all formatted in dollars too. So formatting the currency just means changing your numbers to what, a currency, to show how, whether it is a what is in dollars, or is in francs, or is in euros, or is in what. Now you have some options that are built into Excel already. Like as you can see here, you got the euro, you got the dollar for the United States, and also you got this for the United Kingdom. Of course, you can have more options which you can input. We're only going to cover this in the more advanced class, but for now, for the beginners tutorial, you just have to know just this, okay? So these are not numbers. These are not numbers here presently. These are what? This is in dollars, okay? So this is what, $3.95, and the dollars are in what? In millions USD. So this is in 3.95 what? Million dollars, as you can see here with the with whatever you see up there. Okay, so that is just how you can change the currency to maybe say euros. If I wanted to change this to euro, I just have to select this cell and I click on the drop down and I change this to what, you see, changes that to what, euros, well, including the totals too, because it's part of the sale. So we're just gonna go ahead and we allow this in what, in dollars. And then the next option is how to what, the print view. Okay, So how do you print your document now in Excel? I'm going to really display this by coming to sheet 2. To print your document in Excel, if you're working, you look very well, you're going to see this little calibrated line, which is here, as you see it going down. Now, this is how far, or this is what is going to be printed out. So if you want anything to say, you wanted the whole of this document to be printed out on maybe an A4 sheet, you have to make sure that this part is also in here, okay? Because if we were to go now to our print, now just go to file, let's say print. Now you see just that part that is within that border is appearing here, okay? Yeah, so if I was to go back, that is because it understands that this is what you want it to print. So now, what if you wanted this other part to appear in here? How do you do that? It's very easy. You come down here to the options that you have down here, and you have what? The page break preview. If I was to click here, now you see the page changes to this. Let's zoom in to 200%. Now it changes to this. This is the calibrated line that we have here. So if I was to left click on this line and I pull it to the end here, okay, now I'm telling it that what? I want you to print all of this in the page size that I have selected. And now, if I go back, say, I go back to my normal view, what do you notice? You see that the calibrated line has now moved to this end here. So that means that this is going to be printed on whatever sheet or whatever page size that I've selected. So if you go back now to print, like you see here, now you see that the whole document is actually, it's a little bit small, yes, because of course it has to fit it in here, respecting the borders and all that. But this is what we want. So, and there are more advanced option of printing, like maybe you want to center this and make it bigger and all that. We are not going to be covering that here. Yes, we're going to cover that in the more advanced stages. But for now, this is how you can go about to print your document, making it in such a way that what? It respects the borders of whatever sheet you are selecting. So how do you know the kind of sheet that you've selected in your layout? Again, it's just, of course, the same way that you have in Wordicom under page layout. If we were to check under the size, you see that this is presently set to what? A4, the A4 sheet size, okay? And you see this is portrait. So you can also change it to what? Landscape, just as you have it in what? Word. So of course you can also work with the margins, to change the margins and all that. If you are not satisfied with this, you can come under custom margins and you further customize this. You see, it is more easier to do it here because presently you see all these figures appearing here. If you wanted the top to be like now let me just go back out and I go to the print preview so you see this really quick. Now these are the margins. It is this distance. So this is what it means by the top. This is the left, this is the right, and the bottom is going to be what? Down here. So it is this space that you have up here, the left, the right. So if this was like, say, too big and you want to drop this down a little, all you need to do is to come under what? If you come under page setup here, it is the same way as going under the page layout, and you select whatever option. So if I was in here and I just click on page setup, it's going to open this screen. If I come under margins, you see you have the same option in here. So you can just say you change this, change the option to the top. Now you see, as I select the top, you see this already appearing here, okay? So if I was to put in a smaller number, like maybe say 1.5, okay, you see as it shifts, yeah, so it goes up. So you can do the adjustments accordingly, and you adjust your document with the way you want before you do the final printout. You are not going to see any of those changes here in the Excel worksheet, unlike how you can easily see them in Word, okay? So you have to get into the habit of always coming in here, and then when you open the print screen, before you can actually see how to adjust maybe the margins for all that. Also, for some other options, also you also have the what? You have the headers and the footer. You can also adjust the size for the header and the footer and all that. Okay, so going back, the next option that we were to look at is okay, so that is just it for print view. Yeah, this is just it for print view. And you see it prints everything that you have on screen, excluding the cells. I explained earlier that all these cells are all left blank. If we were to come in here and I click on print, you see that this is just a blank document, okay? But if I go in here, you see you have this. So if you want this to appear, what do? You need to manually put this. So let's just say you want borders to appear the whole of the doc on the whole document. You just need to select a range where you want the borders to appear. I'm just going to do a little range first. So let's say maybe you want borders to appear just for the totals. You just select right up to here, and you come back under your home tab, and you come here under the borders, and you want what? All borders to go all around, okay? Or tick outside borders, anyone you want. Let's go for the tick outside borders. Okay, now you see this border appearing here. If I was to come back now to my print screen, you're going to see now that what? You got a border below there. Yeah, that is because it understands that you want this to be bold. And of course, you can move further, fine tune this by maybe adding the background. So if I was to select this, like so, and I change the background to say maybe any color, maybe this orange color like this. I come under print, you'll see that that also appears there. So if you printed out that document now, you're going to have it like this. So if you wanted, like say, borders to go around the whole document, you select all this, you come here and you select what? All borders, and then you now have this, which if you go under print, you see you got borders all around your document. Okay, so that is just it for how you can do some formatting to further fine tune your document before you print it out in what? Excel. And the next option we are going to be looking at now is how to add, adding cell borders and colors. I believe I've already covered that. So adding cell borders and colors, of course, this is how you add the borders, and you can also change the color. So let's say maybe you also wanted to change this to a different color. You just, let's change the text color. Yeah, maybe red, so it can really stand out. Oh, that's a little bit shouty. Let's put maybe blue, like so. And we change this to red. Good. If I was to print, of course, you see it appears exactly as you have you've changed that. So I'm just gonna go back. So that is how you add the borders and colors and everything to your document before you you print it out. So well, that was very brief, and I believe we've already gone through our day 3. And since we have some time left, I think we can go into day 4, except there are some questions. If you have a quick question, you can just pop it in so we do the clarification before we move on. Any question? Okay, no questions. So going on now, we are just going to look at some basic formulas in Excel. Okay, basic formulas in Excel. So first thing you have to understand in Excel is what? Excel, this spreadsheet that you see here, is actually a calculator, okay? If you want to calculate anything, you can just open Excel, type it in there, and it gives you the answer. But the one thing you have to note is you always have to start with an equal sign, okay? If you want to put in a formula in Excel, you must start with an equal sign. So let's say you just wanted to do a quick calculation of something. So you just have to click in the cell, say here, let's say you want to calculate, say maybe 2 times 4. So you start with an equal sign. So this is equals. Now you understand that is a formula. Okay. When you start with an equal sign, Excel understands that you want to put in what? A formula. So let's just say equals to 2. Put in this times what? 4. And you press the enter key. Now it gives you 8. Okay. So wherever you find yourself, you type anywhere in Excel, any mathematical computation is going to give you an answer. It's functioning like what? A calculator. But you always have to start with an equal sign. But look at what is happening here. When I click in this cell, I find 8. But when you look at in the formula bar here, what do you find? You find the formula that you've put in there. Okay. So that is how Excel works. If I was to click here, I find the 8. But if I click, but of course, in here, you are seeing what? You are seeing the formula bar. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and save this document so that we have this, because we are going to do some changes there. So for us to save this document, just go to File, Save As, Browse. I want to save this to my desktop. Okay, so I'll just change this to, say, let's just call this revenues. Like so, and I click Save. Okay, now we have a copy of that document, so we can go ahead and we change this. So if I was to click here now and I come in the formula bar, and instead of 8, I say give me the multiplication of 2 by say 10. of course, it also does that for you. So, okay, now, the first thing you have to know about formulas in Excel is that what? You always start with an equal sign for formulas. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and I input some, say, let me bring in a row, a column in here, a new column. I right click and just click on insert. That brings in a new column. So I'm just going to go in and I fill in some text here. Let's say 1000. Populate the whole list by 1000. No, we don't want this to appear in what? In dollars. So we need to change that. Okay. So let's say put 2000 here. 4000 and 5000. And of course, just eliminate whatever is in that cell. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and I include another cell again, another column. Okay. So let's say we wanted to divide the contents of this cell by this cell. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I bring in another column because that is looking small. No. Let's insert another column here. Okay. Copy the contents of this cell to here. Change the figures. 12,000. 6,000. Okay. So we want to divide the contents of this cell by this cell, and what the answer should appear in here. So what do you do? Let's say this is 500 or 850, so we can have a decimal point. So the first thing you have to do is you start with your equal sign. So if I was to start with my equal sign, Excel already understand that is a formula that I want in there. So I want to divide the contents of this cell by this cell. So there are two ways you can do that. The first thing, you can look at the cell and you type it in manually. Of course, I know this is H what? This is H5, as you can see here. H and what? 5. So if I say divide me the contents of cell H5, you see it highlights the cell. I need to bring in the division sign, which I believe we all know on your keyboard. Look, using your num keys on your keyboard, you know what the division sign is. If you didn't know, that is it. So I divide this by what? Cell G, what? 5. So we say G5. Okay. I'm going to press enter. Now that is what? 0.9, as you can rightly see there. Okay. So it has divided the contents of this cell by this cell. And when I click in here, you see the formula that we've used here is this. Now, Excel has a very handy feature. Of course, you can go ahead and you keep on doing the same for all these, but if you wanted this to also divide the contents of this other cell, all you need to do is just to come here, you hover here, you're going to see this little plus sign which appears at the angle here. If I also click there and I pull down, you see it populates the list. But you see that the numbers are changing. Why? If I was to click here, you see it divided the contents of this cell by this cell. But look at what is happening here. This is instead what? H6 by G6. So it says Excel understands that if it's moving to this cell, it means you want it to divide the contents of the next cell by this cell. So it has done that for you already and giving you what? The answer, as you can see there. Okay. Same goes for this and what this. Okay, now these are appearing in what? Decimal places, but for some reason, if you want to change it, say maybe in percentages, Excel also has a very handy feature for that. All you need to do is just to click in the decimal places or decimal point like this, and you come up to what here? You got a percentage here. If I also click here now, you see, of course, that is what? 85%. But that happened just there because I selected just the row. And if I selected a column like this, and I click here, of course, you see the percentages also changes. So this is what 85%, 25, as you can see like that. I'm just going to go ahead and I delete all these because these are already okay. So that is one way of you to input the formulas in what? Excel. Now, the next way for you to do that, which is very easy and you should get into the habit of doing this, is for you to do that by selecting the cells using the mouse. So if I wanted to say, get a summation of all this down here, instead of me saying, first I start with the equal sign. I say equals to cell. The first one is going to be B1, B5. So I'll be typing B5 and I put a plus sign plus the next cell, which is what? B6 plus B6. You see it keeps on highlighting. Yes, of course, it's right, but you can just click there, of course. So if you say plus what? The next cell one is B7. So you just click there. You just click in the cell and it just appears there. And then of course the last one plus this B8. And when I press enter, it gives me that summation. And if I was to click on the drop down here and I pull all through, it's also going to give me the summation of all the other cells. Now, when you see this appearing, yeah, don't freak out, okay? This means that the contents of this cell are bigger than the current size of what? The column. So for you to fix that, you can either come up here and you pull this O, like I explained to you. If you were to double click here, it's going to take the higher size of what the whatever content that is found in there, and you see that coming out. So I'm going to do the same here, yeah, for us to have that. That is one way of you doing that. Now the next way for you to do this, I'm going to demonstrate that by also using this summation here. I'm going to use what we call what? A function. A function is in Excel to minimize all this manual work of adding the cells one after another. So let's say I wanted to sum the contents of this cell of these cells up here. Now just imagine you to start typing. Yeah, you can get it right to start typing. Say equals to this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this. You know, just keep coming like so. And you, of course, when you reach, you press enter. Now you see, of course, this is the summation. It's good. But when I click here, look at what is happening. Look at the formula bar here. It's just too long. It's right, yes, but of course, Excel further simplifies that for you by bringing in what we call functions. So I'm going to copy this figure here. Well, there's no way it's going to change. So just take note of this figure, okay? As a matter of fact, I'm going to create a replica of this sheet. So if I was to come down here, I already showed you this, and I say move and copy, and I click on create a copy. Okay, say okay. So this is a new copy, but this is still the sheet here, so you can see the difference. So we're going to work with this. I'm going to go ahead and I delete this. All right. So I'm going to use what we call functions. And for you to do that, you come under your formulas bar, and you'll see what the functions key here. So if I was to click on this drop down, you're going to find sum, average, count numbers, max, mins, and more functions. Another way you also find under the home tab this way. So this is still the same thing here, but I'm going to demonstrate this by coming under the formulas bar. Okay, so I want to get a summation of all of these cells here by using what? A function. So if I was to click in here, you always have to click at the end. You understand? So you want to have the summation of all of these cells. The total has to appear in here. Of course, that's why you have a total column here, and the total must appear in here. So you want to get a summation of all of this. But now I just click on the drop down and I say what? Sum. Now you see, automatically it sums all the contents of this cell, but not individually. It is doing this by using what? A range. Okay, so this is now a range of this, that is a range from B5 to what? P5, as you can see in there. So it says equals to what? The summation of B5 right up to P5. Okay, so as you can see, and when we press enter, you see the same answer as what we had earlier. So this is more easy. And then of course, if you wanted to sum, they also have the summation of all these other cells here. Yeah, you can go ahead and you keep doing the auto sum. Or since you already have for this, you just use this arrow here still and you pull down. And yeah, they are big, so we increase this, and you have the summation of all of those cells down there. So I'm going to go ahead and I add another tab here for average. So now we want the average of all of this here. What is an average? It is the number of numbers, I think is the total number of numbers divided by the number of numbers, whatever. Yeah, that's basic mathematics. But if you want the average of all of these cells, okay, all you need to do still is to create a function. But well, I'm going to demonstrate this manually first. So I want the average of this cell. So it is a summation of everything here divided by the total number of numbers. I'm not teaching basic mathematics here. That is something you should have learned in your elementary education. So again, I start with what? My equal sign. So I'm going to say equals to the summation of these plus this plus this plus this plus this. Or I say equals to, I use well, let's just take that systematically. Equals to summation of this, excuse me, plus this, plus this, plus this, okay, plus this still, and I say enter, and that is giving us what? 23.02, as you can see there, okay? So this is giving us 23.02, but that is not the average. Now we got to take this number and we divide it by the total number of numbers which you have in here, okay? So that is going to be what? That is going to be, and the number of numbers we have in there are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is going to give us 23.02 divided by 5. And that's the average. But you see, that's really a long procedure. You can choose to do it like that. But an easier way of you still doing is by what? Using a function. And this time around, we're going to be using the average function. So I still select the cell and I click on the auto sum and I say, give me the average of this cell. So it's going to ask you, so you need the average of from the range of what? B5 to B9. Yes, that is what we want. And you see the same answer appears there, 4.60. So it's very easy for you to do it using function. And you see now, of course, if we wanted the average of all these other cells, you can just click here and you pull right up to here. And it also populates the list accordingly, giving you the average of these cells. Now, one thing you should note when you are working with Excel, which is very important and is always going to come in handy as you're working, is this bar down here. It's a very important bar, okay? Now you see, whenever you select a range of data, it's going to bring up certain, functions with respect to the range of data that you've selected. And in here, you can easily have what? You can easily have an answer. So look at what is happening here. Now I've selected, say previously we wanted the average of this. If I was to select just a range of data, this data from here to here, and of course, if we look down here, if I was to select this range from here to here, if we look down here, what have you noticed? You see that it has already given us what? The average of this range, and it is the same average that we have here. So it's telling us the average is what? $4.6, which is what we have here. It doesn't only does that, it gives you the count of the number of items which you have in there, which is 5, and of course a summation of everything which is you have there too, which is what? 23.03. Okay, if you wanted to further have more stuff to appear in here, these are the default ones. You just right click and then you can tick. So whatever is going to be appearing here is what you have ticked here. Okay, so if you also wanted what? Maybe a maximum number, now you see it's also giving us what? The maximum number in this range, which is what? 11.5. Of course, if you can look at this, you can see the maximum here is what? 11.5. Let's say we want to see the minimum too. Of course, you see the minimum here is $1.9 million, which of course, if you look here, you see that it's 1.9 million. So if you were working with, like, say, sorting data, and this is always going to be a very handy feature for you to easily sort your data. You know, say you're working with a large range of data and you want to easily sort that out, you can always use this. Whenever you select a range, you see it changes with respect to what you've selected. So presently, let's go to this next one. You see this, of course, it already gives us that what the average here is 4.3. Well, this is to one decimal place. That is why it has rounded the 4.29 to what? 4.3. Okay. And if for some reason you wanted this to appear in two decimal places, of course, you can do that. You right click. And if you were to come to what? Format cells, and you come here, yeah, under the general tab, I think, no, on the accounting things, we're dealing with a function. And you drop this to one decimal place. So you want that whatever happens, it should round this up to one decimal place. And we click on OK. Now you see that gives us 4.3. The reason we had 4.29 there was because it was set to what? Two decimal places, just like this one here. Okay, same with this and the rest, as you can see, like that. So that is a handy feature which I just wanted to give you a heads up, which you can always use to also further fine-tune your work, or to work very easy. Now, that is just it with functions, and there are a lot of functions as far as Excel is concerned, and you can use that. You can now use that on your own to maybe what work and just experiment on them. There's no harm in trying. Okay, create a sheet, experiment on them, try to use other advanced of functions which you have here. Of course, these are not all the functions which you have here. If you were to click on more functions, you are going to see a whole list of functions here. These are just the most recent use functions. If you click here and you say you want all the functions which are in Excel, you see a whole long list of functions, trigonometric functions, all the functions which you can have out there. All these functions are just made with respect to mathematical operations that are done. Some might not be useful to you, but everything from engineering to accounting to anything as far as mathematical computation are concerned, they are covered in here. So if you are, like you see here, you got those for financial. For financial, you have it here. These are financial functions. You got date and time, mathematics and trigonometry. Of course, you also have it here, and all that. But you always, yeah, you see engineering, information, logical text, and all that. But your most recently used functions are always going to be the ones that will appear here. And these are the functions that you use very often. They are always going to appear in here. So you can just experiment with these, and you see how those works. That works. So the next thing we have to look at is what okay, how to copy a formula. Copying a formula is very easy. I'm gonna delete yeah, let me just delete this. So look at what happens. If I was to click in here, you see this is a function in here. So if I copy the content of this cell to this cell, say paste here. Now you would think that it's going to copy this and place it. No, Excel understands that you just want to copy this formula here. And when you copy this formula here, it is not repeating what it has here, because this cell also has contents of its own. So it's also going to go ahead and it calculates this. Now, of course, there is a way which you can pin this in such a way that this formula appears here, but we'll only cover that in the more advanced options. Okay, for now, this is how you copy a formula. And when you do that, it's going to also take into consideration the contents of the corresponding cells which you have there, and it gives you the formula there. Delete that. We just repeat this formula all the way through here. So that's how you copy a formula in Excel. And then we're going to look at how to freeze a plane. Now, well, freezing a plane just means that let's say I'm going to zoom in real large in here. So we scroll to the left. Let's say you are working with this, and you want that this should always remain. Let's say this column should always remain as you are scrolling to maybe say the left, because when we start scrolling, you see that goes off. Okay, so for you to do that, you have to actually freeze this column. Freezing it means when you pull, the other columns are going to be moving, but this one, this one remains in place. Okay, so in order for you to freeze a plane, you have to come under the view tab, and you are going to come under the window group, as you can see here, and you find the option for what? Freeze plane. So if I was to click here, it's going to ask you, what do you want to freeze? We want to freeze the top row. We want to freeze the first column. Of course, we want to freeze the first column. So we click here. Now the first column is freezed. So watch what happens when I start pulling. You see that the other columns are moving, but this one remains in place. This is a very good way if you're working and you always want to, maybe use this as a reference to the data that you're working with. You can just freeze this in place. It saves you the stress of, let me unfreeze this back. It saves you the stress of always coming back and you're like, maybe is this found under Europe or Asia or Canada? No. So if you would just freeze this, and then as you're pulling, of course, you can easily tell where the data is coming from. So that's just how you freeze a plane. And of course, that doesn't only work for a row. You can also freeze it doesn't work only for a column, rather. You can also freeze a row. And if you're satisfied with everything and your work is okay, you just go back and unfreeze the plane, and your document is back to normal. So that is it for how you can freeze a plane. We are almost getting out of time. So the last but not the least, we're going to look at how to use the Tell Me option in Microsoft Excel. The Tell Me option in Microsoft Excel is only found in the more advanced version of Excel, please. That is, I think, from 2010 onwards. You don't find the Tell Me option in like 27. So the Tell Me option is just like a search tool in Excel, but it's very, let's say you're working with Excel and you're lost. In the next tutorial, we're going to cover charts. So let's just say you want to look for, say, charts. Okay. If you want to look for charts and you're like, where is charts found? Is it under the insert or page layout? And no matter where you look, you can't easily find it. Of course, you can just use this Tell Me option, which is always going to be found no matter the tab that you're working in is just stuck in here. So if I was to click in here and I start typing what chart, okay, now you see this. It brings you options for charts. It's gonna ask you want to create a chart. Okay, you want to insert a bar chart or a column chart. If you don't know anything about this, we're going to be covering this in the next tutorial. So also it goes for everything. Let's say maybe you're working with say rows. So if I start typing rows, it's going to ask you, want to insert a new row, you want to format the row, you want to freeze the planes like the row, like what we just see, want to delete some rows and stuff like that. So it's going to be giving you like options as far as rows are concerned. It's going to be giving you options as far as the corresponding what action that you've typed in here is concerned. Okay, so you type any action in here, say maybe anything that you have in here is just going to give you the corresponding option, which you can easily like go to. So if you find yourself lost, you can always use the Tell Me what to do, or the Tell Me option as we easily call it, to easily get that. And of course, there's a shortcut for you to easily go there, which is what you put, hold down your Alt key and you tap what Q, and it just opens that for you, and you can just type whatever it is you want to type in there, and it takes you to the corresponding option where you want to go to. So I'm going to go ahead and I bring this back to what 100%. Okay, so that wraps it off for our class of today. As far as well, we've covered day 3 and 4 already. Day 3 was just about wrapping text in certain rows, merging, correcting, formatting, print view, adding cells and colors, and adding cell borders and colors. On day 4, we've looked at formulas, copying formulas, some functions, and also using the Tell Me option. So if there are any questions, you can ask your questions now. If you got any question for clarification, you can unmute your mic and ask your question. You can ask your question now. If there's any question, you can go ahead and unmute your mic and you ask your question. Mr. Gandhi, I see your mic is unmuted. Do you have a question?
Sir, please, I just want to plead that the today class that may you drop the video, the link of the YouTube channel in the morning so that I can revise again during the day.
The videos are always uploaded on YouTube. Yes, they are always uploaded on YouTube. So if even if it's not uploaded tomorrow, because we have to take some time to upload it. So even if it's not uploaded tomorrow, it's going to be uploaded subsequently. Yes, like if you've been following very well, you see all the days as we are working, they are always uploaded. So yeah, of course, the videos will always be uploaded on YouTube.
All right. In respect to your worries, Mr. Gandhi, I think the only videos which we have not uploaded is the class of yesterday and today. I just wanted to see those. Yes, I think just the class of yesterday and today. I think I will do that I might do that before I go to bed so that tomorrow you have it. So be rest assured, we will try as much as possible to ensure you have it by tomorrow. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank
Right.
you.
Yes. Do you have any other question?
No, no, I don't have any.
Okay. I think we've covered in respect to calculations and formatting. I think Mr. Hillary has really touched a lot, and I think he has even gone into more than what we're even supposed to cover for this introductory phase, which I think it is very, very okay. So for someone who wants to just do basic calculations, I think the formulas which we have just done today are quite numerous for you to be able to do any calculation of your choice. All right, though there are other methods in which you can do same calculation, but the best thing is always for you to learn the basic methods which you have been taught today. So you'll be able to maybe carry on by doing your own research and trying to know more, because we have many other functions. We have the if functions, we have rankings. You have a lot of different calculations which you can do with Excel. And Excel, like I said before, Excel is one of the first accounting software used in doing yearly activities, quarterly analysis, and things like that. Some organizations still use it up to today. So even though some intelligent guys have gone to use the same knowledge of Excel to develop other softwares which function like Excel, because you just need to do the imputation, but they have tried to make it more easier for data to be able to be collected, processed, and sent out as an output without any problem. So they have tried to reduce the stress in it. But Excel, like I tell you, is one of the best applications you can ever think of doing calculations. Other applications we use now have just been summarized, and they try to link them up to networks. That's why you see Excel, they have tried to have it online in such a way that organizations can equally link up, they do transactions, and you'll be able to see it on your various computers as well. So basically, I think everything has been touched, and I'm very, very happy. The things have really been, it has really been exciting. It has really been exciting. I think from now, I think except you want to say you have not understood anything, I think from now, what we have just done now, if you have to do your own research, you are going to be very, very okay. Because if you can work with cells very, very well, you can impute data very, very well, then you can merge cells very well, then you don't have any problem. You don't have any problem with constraints inserting columns and rows and things like that. So I think basically we are getting there. We are getting there gradually. We are getting there, and we are so excited because we are really going to we are really going to at least graduate students from this Excel class. Though as time is going, we are having the population reducing, but we don't have the problem with that. Even if we have just a single student at the end, we are fine with that. At least we know that the data group is excelling and is going to higher heights. That's always the case. People will come in and people will go. Some people will always drop along the way, but it's fine. We are happy for those who are putting in the effort. You know, your effort will not go in vain. We are going to give you a work after this course, which when you do it, then I don't think you'll be able to see any basic calculations or basic Microsoft Word document, and you'll be unable to prepare that document. At least you'll be able to prepare even 95 of that document, 95%. So I think we have really wrapped it up. I don't know, how long do we still have, Mr. Wahilari, to cover this particular class? We have how many modules are left? I think it should be 2 or 3.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think we have 2 days to round up with the Excel program. Yes.
Like I said about this thing, here in the UAE, I'm telling you, people are hunting for this program. If we launch this program here in the UAE, that want to carry out this program here first before we go to another country, we are going to have, because here, this is where the real deal is. If you are not knowledgeable in computer studies, then just forget wherever you go to, especially Excel. Just know that you are going to be doing on skilled level, because the only skilled level you can know is to work with the PC and to be in the office. Once you don't know about this, then you are gone. Everything about you is gone. You just be doing your manual level work. That's the reason why you see in Cameroon now, people are just taking these things for granted, taking it for granted. By the time you want to step up your level, I'm telling you now, like someone like Mr. Wahilari, if he steps here now, I don't even think he's even someone who doesn't even want to work for somebody. Because if he steps here now, I tell you, the least salary he can get is $1 million, honestly. The least salary he can get is $1 million, and people are there looking, they are waiting to really get someone who is very skilled. Because here, I noticed that here we have too much unskilled labor. People who come here, people who don't have the skills, they just want to come and get something very fast and things like that. And we need to reduce that notion in our various African countries. Companies should be able to recruit you with your knowledge and competence and see how far you can go with that same knowledge, or you use the same knowledge to your own advantage in your organization to build your organization. So I think we are very happy with this. And I'm saying that our next session, which when we will launch it here in the UAE, I'm telling you, people, we are going to really have people who will be interested because the jobs are there. The skilled labor jobs in terms of computer studies are there, but there are no people to actually get this knowledge. And we are going to do that in the later, I think in December, we will launch this same course. And people pay very high cost. People already pay money to get these courses. And the internet service is there for them to learn the courses. But the problem here is that it's very, very expensive. It's very expensive. Microsoft Office itself, if you want to learn it here, it cannot take you less than 100,000 per program. That's per Word, Excel, or PowerPoint or database. It won't take you less than 100,000 francs CFA. And when we talk about 100,000 francs, people pay 3,000 dirhams to learn the complete program in about 2 months. That's $3,000. 3,000 dirhams is close to, it's getting to about 500,000-600,000. So we are really taking this thing for granted, and I'm really happy for those who are actually making an effort, and your effort will not go in vain. So Mr. Awahilari, I think we have actually wrapped up with this session of today. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to round up with the program to us as soon as possible with those who are available, and we ensure that they really go back home smiling. And of course, they'll be able to refer people and tell them that the data group is actually doing a great job, and we are equally going to mentor others. So we want to thank everyone who was able to make it for this program. Like I said before, we have 3 mentors for this program. I, Mr. Awahilari, and Mr. Jimmy Marvin. He has a serious issue. I don't know. He has a very serious issue, which he explained to me. He will have been with us. But all the others who have been left, who have not been able to make it for the class, there's no problem. Though I keep receiving complaints, but those complaints cannot solve any problem. Yes, we only give certificates to those who make the effort and even watch the programs online. Watch the programs online and do the assignment. We don't have a problem with that. So I think, Mr. Awahilari, we can wrap it up.
Okay, Mr. Jordan, yes, I would just want to thank I see Mr. Gandhi and Akuchu Kairin. These are the 2 people that are really prominent in all the classes. You know, there's a saying that you can take a horse to the stream, but you can't force it to drink water. You see, what we are doing here is very important. We are doing it for free. So there's going to come a time when all this is going to be paid. And this is the time when you have to grab this. The world of which we live in today, if you don't have knowledge in stuff like this, you're going to be lost. Seriously, you're going to be lost. So I want to thank everybody who is attending. And yeah, just keep on. We're going to keep on striving to give you the best. We're going to keep on striving to give you the best. And if you have any questions, please, if you have any worries or doubt as we are working, please don't always hesitate to ask. We are here for you, okay? Tadita Group is here for you. We are here to clarify everything as far as you are concerned with respect to the subsequent programs that we are covering. Now, of course, we are going to be having other programs that are coming up subsequently. Yes, I think after the Excel program, Mr. Jordan, I think we'll be handling a PowerPoint and Publisher. And then we also have more advanced programs, which are in engineering and architectural architectural programs, which we are going to list that in the group. That is actually really my domain. So we are also going to be looking at all those softwares and more even. So Tadita Group is really an institution which, if you really know what you are looking for, you are not going to miss anything as far as being oriented in here is concerned. So thank everyone who attended today, and see you same time tomorrow.
Yeah, and then one thing again, please, as we are rounding off with this program, as we are getting into PowerPoint and Publisher, we need to make you to understand that those are design programs, and of course, you should try as much as possible to equally get into the graphic designing class, which is going to equally start subsequently next week. We are running the programs, we are running the programs at the same time. We run graphic design and maybe publisher will be running at the same time, which means we take first the graphic design class, maybe for 1 hour, then we take a publisher the subsequent hours. We are saying so because they are very linked together. You will learn a lot of things in relation to graphic designing, and you implement those things in Publisher, because Publisher too is a graphic designing software. Like I said before, we have other programs that have come up, but Publisher has always been the first. It has always been the first. It contains everything in regards to designs. So please, I'm advising everyone who is here, try as much as possible to equally get into that class, all right? The intermediate phase of graphic design. Even if you do not attend the introductory part, there's no problem. But make sure you get into this, because this is the nooks and the cream of the matter, and you are going to need this in order to be a perfect, for you to be able to design Publisher very well. So while we are rounding off with Excel, you get yourself prepared and get ready for the real business next week. All right. We want to thank everyone who was able to make it for this program, and we hopefully we are going to see you all tomorrow. So thank you very much, and good night.